Yo, what is going on YouTube? We are back again with another Escape from Tarkov video. Today we're going to be discussing one of the most controversial topics in all of Tarkov. That is the rat versus the Chad. If you're not familiar with what the rat versus the Chad is, it's basically the analogy of a camper versus a rusher in Call of Duty. Somebody who is sitting still, they are holding down an area versus somebody who is running around trying to kill as many people as they can. And that's basically it. So, strap in and let's get into the video. The first playstyle we're going to talk about is the rat. Now, oftentimes when you hear of people being called rats, you associate them to be a bad player or somebody who's just playing super slow or just sitting in a bush or sitting in a room waiting for somebody to walk by and get the easy kill on them. Although that might be true, and although they might not be the best players, the rat playstyle is the only way that they know how to play the game. Not everybody has a ton of time that they can put hours and hours into the game to get better, and that's just how it is. Majority of players enjoy playing this type of playstyle because it's the only way they can survive. Believe it or not everybody is a Chad and they don't like to just run around and get as many kills as they'd like. Some players are just trying to quest and trying to level up and progress in the game. In order for them to do that, they have to play like a rat, they have to play slow, and that is perfectly fine. Because after all, Tarkov is a survival game. So I don't think that all rats should be getting some of the hate that they are given, because honestly it is a very smart strategy to utilize within the game, especially if you're inexperienced or you're new to the game. Now there are some extremes to being a rat, and that is being an extract camper. Now, extract camping is the rattiest, scummy thing you can do in the game. And honestly, I see why people do it. It is a viable strategy within the game. As much as I hate to admit it, it does give the extract campers some of the best advantages you can get in the game. Players have to cross your path to get to the extract and to leave the game. And if you're just sitting in a bush waiting for them and you can take your time and you hit your shots, they're just free kills for you. I don't condone extract camping, but I do see why people do it. Although playing like a rat has tons of advantages, there are some disadvantages that come along with it. And that being, you're not going to progress as a player in Tarkov if you're only playing like a rat. It's only good for beginners and for people who are trying to do quests. It's only going to take you so far into the game. Without those chat experiences, you're not going to be able to fight people up close. You're not going to be able to get better aim and game sense when it comes to fighting PvP, and you're going to be limited in that regard. So if all you do is rat, I do suggest trying to come out of your comfort zone a little bit and try to be a chat a little more often. You don't have to do it all the time. Doing that every once in a while does give you that experience that can help you if you're trying to become a better Tarkov player in general. And speaking of being a Chad, let's get into that right now. But before we get into the Chad portion of the video, if you are enjoying the video so far, don't forget to leave a like, comment down below if you have any other suggestions of any other video you would like to see. And while you're down there, consider hitting that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me and it would help me out in more ways than you can imagine. Alright, now back to the video. Now let's talk about the playstyle that everyone watches whenever they're watching a YouTuber or a streamer. And that is being a Chad. Being a Chad in Tarkov is someone who just runs around, they try to get as many kills as they can, and oftentimes they make those crazy plays that you love to see, and they're usually the better players in the game. They have the most experience in the game, and they know how to hit their shot. These are the type of players like Lvndmark where you see them running into a building, they're clearing the building out, oftentimes killing 3 or 4 people at a time. You know, they're running around point firing people, and overall they're just having the best type of Tarkov experience that a player can have. These players are the ones that strike the fear into the rats, and that's why a lot of people do rat, because they're scared of people who are Chads, who know the map very well, who can run around and outflank people, out-aim people, and outgun them at any given moment. And honestly, the Chad playstyle is what everyone wants to do when they watch Tarkov. They want to get into all those PvP engagements, and these players are basically headhunters. They're going strictly for all the high loot locations and the high traffic areas to try to get into fights as much as possible. These players are the ones that run around Tarkov and make it look like it's Call of Duty. Now, though this playstyle can be fun and entertaining, it does have some drawbacks if you're trying to take this game a little more serious and you're trying to learn how to play the game. If you're a new player, you're probably not going to be able to do what a lot of these players do because they have tons of experience, they have the map knowledge, the gun skill, and overall just the talent to do this type of playstyle. If you're not very good at the game, you don't know it very well, and you try to do what some of these big streamers do, then you're going to die more often than not. So what I suggest is not trying to become a Chad immediately, but to learn the map and progress slowly over time. And once you know how to make money in the game, then you can start being a Chad, because it is going to be expensive to run the type of kits and the type of weapons that these players use. Chads are often the ones that are using the best loot in the game. They always have kitted out guns and the best armor, and it's for good reason. They're only going out the PvP fights, so they need the best stuff in the game in order to give them the best advantage when they're fighting other players. But the Chad playstyle does have its drawbacks. As I mentioned before, you will die more oftentimes than not if you're pushing a squad or something like that and you're not used to that type of environment, because all it takes is one bullet to the head and you're going to be dead in this game. No matter if you have the best gear on or the best gun or the best aim, whatever. Take a look at any other streamer. They die just like everybody else. All it takes is a decent player to land one headshot on you and then you're dead. Not only that, but playing playing like a Chad can be frustrating at times. For example, say you go to customs dorms, you slay out 4 or 5 people in dorms, you get a ton of loot, ton of good gear, and you're trying to get out, and then you end up dying by a rat. It can be very frustrating to die by players like this when you have all this good loot on you and you did all the work to kill all these players, and all you do is just die by somebody who is just sitting in the bush. Now, they can be frustrating, but it's something you have to deal with whenever you're a Chad, because if you do have this type of playstyle, you are going to be making a lot of noise, you are going to be drawing a lot of attention to yourself, and if you're not ready to fight at any given moment, then chances are you're going to die by a rat who is sitting in the bush waiting for you to come out into the open. But other than that, playing like a Chad is very entertaining, and it does make for a lot of fun experiences that you see on Call of Duty, where you make a crazy play that ends up making you win the fight versus like a 1v5 or something like that. So to summarize being a Chad, you get those experiences that are high octane to get the blood flowing. You will become a better player over time because you're always getting into these fights. You're going to know what to do in every situation to become a better player. Being a Chad does help you get over gear fear because you're not afraid to lose that loot because you know how to get it back from PvP. Some of the downsides of being a Chad are not everybody can do it. It's not a playstyle that comes naturally to a lot of players. New or inexperienced players won't be able to obtain this for a long time, as you have to put hours and hours into the game to be comfortable with the map flow and how the guns work and how just overall the PvP works in this game. And the last disadvantage is it can be very frustrating for players who are good just to die by players who are sitting in a bush or who are just waiting to ambush you and you're not ready for it. So that comes to our conclusion. Which playstyle is the best, the Rat or the Chad? And honestly, I don't think there is a better playstyle. I think they all have their advantages and disadvantages, and it really comes down to the players' experiences and what they want to do within the game. I think the best type of playstyle a player can have is to be a little bit of both, to have some Rat attributes as well as being a Chad. Even if you watch big streamers like Lvndmark, who is known to be a Chad, there are some moments where he just wants to rat it out, and it does work in his favor. And I think that just comes with time in the game to know whenever you need to rat or whenever you need to be a Chad. I should just have a mix of both playstyles and just mixing it up every now and then. And honestly, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to be called a Rat or a Chad. It's just how you played the game and how you ended up winning a fight over somebody else. And there's frustrations just happen in a moment just because you have a different playstyle than somebody else. There really is no right or wrong answer which playstyle is better. It's just whatever you feel comfortable doing with your experience in Tarkov. But I am curious as to what you guys have to say. Leave your comments down below which playstyle you prefer to do. Are you a Rat more, or are you a Chad more, or a mix of both? And while you're down there, you might as well like the video and subscribe if you want to see more Escape from Tarkov content. Alright, that's all I have for you in this video today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.